Hey everyone. Let's see if I can improve the lighting. So, a little bit of internet trouble. What's up, Adrian? Hey, how's the audio and the video? Had a little internet issues here, so I'm not sure if it's going to be kind of in and out or what. Buffering. Yeah, that's what I figured. Sorry, guys. Hey, happy Easter. Looks like we may have a buffering live today for some reason tonight. I only got 2 bars on my phone, my hotspot, so alright. So the wife said it's fine now. So just now put out a video, some road footage from when I left Kentucky to where I'm currently at now, which is in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm about 10 miles outside of my 90. I could have delivered early this morning, but I sound like a robot. Well, that might be interesting. But I could deliver this morning, but they were closed. They're closed on the weekends. So it's this trucking. It is what it is. But I'll be, I got a 6:30 in the morning delivery. I'll put out a little bit more video tomorrow going into the 90, but for you guys who checked out the road footage video, it's pretty funny that the Tyson plant has a self-serve washout. Of course, I was hauling Smithfield ham before doing a drop and hook over there, so that was one of the things that I really kind of give prime props on, because there were no washouts around. I mean, I could have went up a little bit to Louisville, but I was about 45 miles from Louisville, so instead of making a 90-mile round trip and back to my 01, when you actually look at the other details on your load order, it'll tell you if there's overnight parking. I would not pay attention to the directions. That's one of the things that, the directions, I don't know if they was written in years ago or what, but they said they get lost. But there's sometimes a much easier way to go than what's on those directions there. But take it with a grain of salt. But anyway, so they had a washout station there, and I asked the guy, so I'm expecting to, basically pull in this bay, and there just be a pressure washer in there, and for me to, wash out the trailer or whatever. Well, it was actually a wash. Then you had to back in to, once you went out of it, so all the trigger heads, which I showed you guys on the video, once you triggered those, man, I mean, I didn't know what to do for a minute. I got soaked. Then didn't know how to turn it on. Nobody said anything sounding mechanical. Yeah. Sorry, guys. But anyway, so I'm going through and backing back up to do the washout. Couldn't figure out how to turn the pressure washer on. The guard never told me anything as far as, you got to push this on over here or, whatever it may be. I told him it was my first time there. But anyways, I got it done. Got it washed out, dropped the trailer. This load that I'm carrying wasn't supposed to be picked up until the 20th. Thanks, man. So it was not supposed to be picked up until the 20th. And I picked it up the 19th. Ran about 100 miles parked just because it was later. Parked, then ran in to pretty much ran it all the way in here, minus about 200 miles. So, actually about 240. So I had 240 miles this morning. Sound is horrible. Let me type internet. Sucks. All right. I mean, I know, so if it keeps on doing it, I'll just end the live and it's fine now. My phone's telling me she's my little person that's telling me that it's good, it's bad, it sucks, in and out. That's one of the things that I will be getting to boost the signal. I actually got one in my camper. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna actually try hooking it into the antenna here on the truck because you got to have an antenna for it. So since there's an antenna on the truck, I'm gonna try it and see if that works or not. But if it don't, I'm gonna go ahead and get the WeBoost, and we'll kind of see how that goes. But to go back to where I was in the wash bay, man, it was a hot mess in there. There was chick everywhere. It was, and the smell. Chad had told me about the smell at Tyson, and it's definitely, I've smelt worse, but it's just a unique smell where, it's not very pleasing. But I've smelled truckers worse. So, yeah, it was all good. I was in and out really quick, delivering tomorrow at storage facility here in Jacksonville. So I'll probably get some of the welfare juice, they call it, coming out of here. The pay in here was pretty good. That's what Chad always says. The pay coming in is not bad, but you kind of taking the shorts going out. So he said sometimes, not all the times. He said sometimes you can get I believe it was a run to Georgia that pays pretty decent as well. So we'll see. I think this one, it paid a little over $2 a mile. So wasn't that bad. Wasn't that bad at all. And plus, where I was in Kentucky, when I left, it was like 48 degrees. And last night at the coldest was that in Georgia. And today it got up to, I think, like 78, 80 degrees here. Sunshiny, as you can see on the recent video on the road footage, how the sun cleared up. So that footage was of today when the sunshine was at the end.
But yeah, so let me tell you about this lady last night. So I'm talking to my wife, and this Love's, I'm sorry, the pilot said it had 20 parking spots. I was like, all right, it was 2 miles closer to my destination, and I was like, it was like 3 or 4 o'clock. So I stopped at Love's just to make sure that there was parking there. Hey man, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it, Tulsa Trucker. So I stopped there, and there's probably, I don't know. I mean, there's the app says 60 spots, and there's probably at least 20 spots open. So I'm thinking, all right, so it's pretty early in the day. I'm gonna run down Pilot, and they got some food options over there. They had some barbecue and stuff that I was going to grab, but ended up going to Ruby Tuesday and eating a salad. But anyways, so I go up to Pilot, and guys, there are four. That's it. 4 parking spots at the Pilot, and one of those was handicapped. So when you came in, the Catskill was on the left, and it had a pretty good clearance from the Catskill. So when you came in, you entered the scale was to your left, and it drove out. You went around to the pump, the gas station, or the pumps. So I back up in there, kind of got my trailer a little caught because the angle was like an octagon kind of deal. So I was like, it's questionable. I'm gonna go in here and ask the manager, and see if it's all right if I park there. Yep, it's fine, not a big deal, just as long as the people can get out on the Catskill. All right, I went in there 5 minutes. Somebody pulled up in the Catskill. Boom, they can get out, no problem. So I go grab something to eat, come back, and I'm sitting in the truck and I'm talking to my wife. And this, I hate to say it, guys, but this Prime driver, and she's an older lady. Not that I have anything against anything that Prime driver or older ladies, but she circles around. So I'm thinking she's getting fuel. And she comes back around and she tries to park beside of me. And, I didn't say anything for a minute. She kept on maneuvering in and out. And that's what that video was. I sped it up. We did it probably, I don't know. I didn't really snap the picture until she got out of the truck and was kind of looking around, which I give her props on. Guys, you got to get out. If you're not sure where you're at, where you're going, where your trailer's at, you got to get out and look. Don't be ashamed to get out and look, because you're going to be more ashamed when you hit something. I assure you that. So, anyways, give her props on that. But anyway, she goes back and forth 4 or 5 times. And I rolled my window down. And I asked her, I said, that's the scale right there, right? Because they could no longer come through this. They can go through it, but they couldn't get out of the scale. So she kind of made a funny face, kind of shook her head a little bit. Then there was actually a trucker that was pulling out that had parked right by the scale, which you see a lot of here. I was like, wow. But I just couldn't believe that she was going to park beside of me before I said something to her, asking her, how's the people going to get out of the scale? Because I don't know if she thought they came around the other way, or I don't know. But yeah, it had been a bad situation for somebody at night. You might have got a little bit of rocking at night, somebody hitting your vehicle or whatever. But it's been a long day today. I got here super early, and I'm actually here at Love's off of 96 and exit 366. And I got here pretty early, and I didn't leave. I mean, I could have got here probably at like 9 o'clock this morning, and I was 240 miles away. But I trucked it down, got here probably about, probably about noon, 12:30, because there's only like 5 parking spots here. So I went ahead and parked, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes away, and it was going to, the Uber ride or Lyft ride was going to be 15, 20 bucks there, there, 15, 20, fixed me a sandwich and sucked it up. Took a nap. I mean, really just been chilling all day long, man. Just been chilling. So, plan on getting out of here early in the morning. What do you like about the International? What do you dislike so far? I like, there's some small features that you wouldn't think that makes a difference, and something that didn't do it or would shut off. For example, the 19 Freightliners, and I'm just talking about Chad's truck because that's the only semi I've ever driven before. So the 2019 Freightliners, and David H. I don't know if, I'm sure everybody here watches David H. as well, but he complains about it all the time, or he used to, about how unsafe it was that you couldn't use your wipers and your cruise control. So I'm buffering again. So wiper, you could use it on the first and second delay. But if you turned it anymore, your cruise control automatically shut off. So, safety feature, I get it. That's one of the things I like about the International is once you say stop something. It stopped after the small features. Hey, Scott. So the International, you can use your cruise control and your wipers on full, on delay. It never shuts your cruise control off. That's something I like about it. The other thing I like about it is on your mirrors, you have the turn signals that turn on your mirrors. That's a nice feature that I like about it. I like that the bunk heater is all in one, but I don't like it. It's not digital like Chad's is. On Chad's, you could actually set the temperature of what you want it to be, and it shut off or on depending on that. Versus mine has like a little rubber thermometer thing that comes out of it, and that basically tells it if you're what the temperature is going to shut on or off. So it's not that great. I mean, it cools and heats really good, but I'm just saying that the thermostat on it is not that great, in my opinion. I don't like where the Qualcomm is on the International. Now, something that I did have them change, and I would encourage everyone that gets an International or has an International, is go to the tractor shop at Springfield, Pittston, wherever, and they actually have a longer arm for your Qualcomm that will bring it closer to you versus being over there in the passenger side seat. So that was something that I dislike about it. But it works now that they put the extra piece on there. And that was just something that I asked them to do.
Yeah, I'm still buffering. So that was something that I asked them to do at the shop when I got the truck. Has this reefer here, man, it's a loud one. Well, I mean, it runs. It backs up. Yeah, it backs up good. I don't have any issues with it backing up. This one actually, it has the low and the drive. So I guess it's like a bulldog here. I mean, I really don't know what you would use it for because I mean, it spikes the RPM so much that I don't know why you would use it. It's because it seems like it's really kind of. I get it. It's a bulldog gear, but if you're revving the engine up to 15 to 2,000 RPMs, and you haven't come out of fourth or fifth gear, I mean, for me, that just seems like it's going to be an engine problem. So I don't use it. Something that's really different on this one than on the 2019 Freightliners as well is the cruise control. So on Chad's cruise control, 2019 Freightliner cruise controls, it has a -4 and a +4, meaning if it goes above 5 miles an hour, what you set it for, it basically starts bogging it down. It'll automatically kind of kick in your engine brake. And if you go under 4, it will kick, it will speed you up. I mean, I set it on 60. So now I've actually had to set it on 61 because when I go to 61, it only goes to 60. And if I go to 60, it'll go 59. So that's a little bit off. And a lot of times I catch the truck, and I'm thinking, so the truck has like its mind of its own. When you're kind of peaking a hill, going on a place that's going to get a downhill, it will automatically start letting off the gas because it knows it's going to cruise, pretty fast, or faster than it's going down the hill, and it's off a lot. I mean, like sometimes, like when I'm set at 60 miles an hour, sometimes it gets down to like 54, and that drives me absolutely crazy because I like that feature. If it goes under 4 miles an hour, what your cruise control is, no matter if you're going up or down, it's going to speed you up, trying to get you closer to that cruise that you set it for. So that's a feature that I like about the Freightliner that I dislike the cruise on the freight or the International here. Another thing is the Jake brake. Now, on the Freightliner, you cannot set the cruise control on with the engine brake on. You just couldn't do it. It wouldn't work. It would tell you, shut off your engine brake and you can set the cruise control. Well, on this one, it allows you to set your cruise control with your engine brake, and it only starts working. It only engages when you go 4 to 5 miles over to what you set it for. And some people may like that. When I'm using the engine brake, it's the engine brake. That's what I mean. I wanted to slow down without touching the. Like I went through some pretty good mountains in California and in coming out of Pennsylvania, Maine. That I never touched my engine brake or never touched my brake because I was utilizing the engine brake, and I like that. Now with this engine brake, I ain't gonna say it's any different as far as the stopping hour, but it's just different how it works. Now when I was in my ACE1 class, when I was doing my lease upgrade, they were talking about the automatic, really understanding the automatic. And they was talking about the Freightliner specifically on, they call it the descent cruise. Something about you can set your cruise control while you've got your engine brake on. And if it goes under that or over that, it starts working, and it doesn't work as good as the Freightliner is what I'm saying. That's the bottom line. I think that, I would much rather be in control of going 1, 2, or 3. When I was going down to Tennessee, in my recent video here, when I was going down the hills in Tennessee, I had to tap my brakes a few times. Now, I didn't have to use it a lot because of the engine brake and stuff, and I was only on the second one versus the third one. As far as, you got 3 levels on your engine brake. So I was on the second, and I still had to tap my brakes. Now, I went down to Hatchby in California, and anybody who's been in California riding, the Hatchby, I mean, that's a pretty big, it has some pretty good hills on it, going down and coming up. And I could use the engine brake only on the Freightliner, and I would not be able to. I've bet money on it that I would have to hit my brakes several times using it in the International here. There seems to be more storage and charging ports. Yes, they are a lot more. The charging ports, the only difference in the charging ports in the International is really up in the top bunk. Everything else the Freightliner has down here on the dash and in the sleeper for the driver. That's the only top bunk, which I've got storage, using it for storage now, but it actually has cup holders, it has vents on both sides, and it has a phone charging port, which the Freightliner, 2019 Freightliner, does not have at all. So that was I like that, but I'm not having top bunks, but for somebody that's I hate to cruise on my International and just takes a suggestion rather than an order. Yeah, no doubt. You set it for a certain thing, but like I said, when it thinks that you're going down a hill and it may be a small hill, it will slow down. I mean, it will slow down 5-6 miles under what you got it set for. And when you're already running 60 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour under the speed limit, people start looking at you like, dude, what are you doing? So that is a little frustrating. Derek, does your International, when you set your cruise control, like for mine, when I set it on 61, it goes 60. When I set it for 60, it goes 59.
Does yours do the same thing? Because that drives me absolutely insane. But sometimes you can push the button on the, how you can increase the cruise and decrease the cruise. Say if I'm running 60 miles, push the plus to go up one more to try to get to 60 miles an hour. It won't increase the cruise control, but it's 50 mile an hour. So I don't know if that's just a glitch. I don't know what it is, but it's a little bit of a headache. I think you got I know you got more dash space. When I say dash space, I mean just up on top of the dash. That's way bigger on the Freightliner than the International. But I think really kind of the in-between area, all those are pretty similar. I don't like and call it what it is, I don't like the passenger seat not having armrest. You know, I know if Chad's truck did not have an armrest when I was sitting in the passenger, man, that would drove me absolutely bonkers. Oh yeah, I set it to 63 in order to get around 61 because I know it won't go 63. Yeah. It was funny. I was driving yesterday, and Prime guy passed me, and he got on the CB, and he was like, "Come on, go 65, drink the Kool-Aid." And I said, "Well, I'll go 65. You know, if you're paying the fuel bill." And he says, "Oh, that's a myth." And guys, I'm here to tell you, you know, myth. Call it. I'm just talking about my experience in Chad's truck and in the Freightliner, or I'm sorry, International, in my truck here. That it seems like 60 is a sweet spot. Now, I'm talking about on heavy loads because I really haven't had any light loads other than one, and it was like 17,000 pounds. Everything else I've been running really has been like 38 to 42,000 pounds. And I can tell you that in an empty trailer, I can set my cruise on 65 and I can get 10.4 to 10.8 miles per gallon. When I bobtailed home for home time, I got 10.5, which made no sense. So, yeah. But even when I'm doing heavy loads, I mean, I'm getting 8.6 to 9.4 on heavy loads. So I'm pleased with the fuel mileage that I'm getting. What about you, Derek? Are you getting pretty good fuel mileage on yours? Guys, there's nothing worse. When you're at a truck stop, especially parked for the night, turn your daggone lights off where you're not blinding the person in front of you. And if you have running lights, you can turn the key to the left and it will kill those lights if you're in a Freightliner. And if you're in an International, you can just turn the switch to where it turns them off. So I don't understand why people do that. I mean, hey, if you want to run your parking lights or header lights and all your amber lights, that's something that you can do. Hey, I have no problem with that. But don't be shining your lights all up in there. Do you use them to get your... Yes. Yeah. And they actually just now did an update on it. And it's been having some pretty major glitches in it, just to be honest with you. I've had to actually go in to the store because I don't have the card. I mean, when I got the Pilot and the Loves app, I just did something with the cards because you had to input that into the phone. So what I have to do is I'll just use my Prime card. I'll have to go inside and they'll scan my phone app with that receipt and it puts the points on there. But when it works, it's awesome. I love it. You know, Chad always made fun of me, like, man, I could have went out there and already pumped it or whatever, but you know, you don't have to worry about losing receipts or keeping receipts, everything on there now. But the new update is instead of only just fuel being on there, it actually puts all your transactions, which what Loves does currently as well. So I like that. I love the update. now we just got to get the glitzes out of it to, work it properly. Derek, it's not bad. I only had it for 5K miles, and it's 8.8 average for all the miles at 9.3 over this 33K load now, over 900 miles. My last truck was a 2018 Freightliner, and I feel like the mileage was better, but the International isn't far behind. Yeah, I've heard Chad even told me, I don't know if he had a 17 or an 18 Freightliner. I think it was a 17 Freightliner, but he said that his 17 got better fuel mileage than his 19. And we got pretty good fuel mileage in the 19 Freightliner as well. But Stefan, he got a 2020 Freightliner, and he said that he's getting really good gas mileage on it as well. So, but during, Prime does a weekly update as far as what on your fleet manager sends out a message on your Qualcomm saying, what the fleet average is on the fuel miles and what yours is. And the average is 8.6, I think last week's was, or this week's was. And I was at 8.99. So is the International a better ride? Yes. Much smoother. I say that, but I've not been in the back, laying down. The Freightliner wasn't a bad ride when you're just driving it. You really noticed it when you're, back there in the bed. When Chad was driving and I was trying to sleep, man, that thing would shake the living shit out of you. I mean, it would beat you to death. But of course, I haven't had that experience riding in the back while somebody's driving in the new International. But overall, it seems to drive a little smoother on the bumps and stuff than the Freightliner does. What's up, bro? Table 29th. Nice. Good luck to you, Phoenix. Good luck. They're awesome. When I took off for the first time on the terminal, I couldn't believe. Oh yeah. I think, to me, because like when he drove, like his seat is like, it's like slammed to the ground, and I don't really see how he rode with it like that because it had no air in it, and when you hit a bump, your tailbone would I would just think that would be like ouch. So I always kept my seat air up in it, and of course it brought me up a little bit. But when I hit a bump, I want to do this right here. I don't want to just feel it in my butt. I'd rather kind of bob and weave, get over the bump and roll on. But that was something he always made fun of me. Man, lower your seat down. How's the weather up there? Whatever it may be. But it was funny when my wife, she actually got in a truck with me on my last load before home time. She had the seat all backed up all the way, had her feet propped up on the dash, and she was just, chilling. It was, her legs were just perfect. It was like this right here, like no bend in them at all. It was like, bam. Hey, Brenda, thanks for listening. But yeah, so she got experience. It was kind of funny because I was giving her time. She takes a water pill. Of course, you take a water pill, makes you go to the bathroom and everything a lot more than normal. And we're like 45 minutes into the first ride that she's on the truck with me. She's like, I got to go to the bathroom. Like 45 minutes. I'm driving sometimes like 8 hours, before I take my 30 minutes, or 7 hours, then I take my 30. But that's so yeah, I was like, we're gonna have a little bit of issues there. If you're gonna ride with me, you're gonna ride with me. So for her to say that, I gotta use the bathroom, that was funny. But that's no different. Like my mom was alive. Like we lived 2.5 hours each way from each other, and Natural Bridge was kind of in the middle. And 115 miles is it, guys. 115 miles, and like every time, like I got to use the bathroom. I got to use the bathroom. So I guess if you got to go, you got to go. I came here earlier. There's some people pulling out now. I'm sure these spots will get taken. But when I came here earlier, this Love's here. It only had like 4 spots open, and I got here early. I mean, like 12:30. So I was really shocked that it had filled up that quick. But and the funny thing about it is half the truckers that's been here since I've been here, like I haven't seen them all day. So I don't know if they went into town or they park here and this is like their home time spot. I don't know. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, Derek. Dad's Adventure. Well, glad everybody's here, guys. Hopefully this buffering situation is ended, and hopefully you can hear me a little better. I'm not sure about the quality either, but so let me tell you this. So David H. talks about the Qualcomm. Like, I had got on his channel when I first got my truck. I had gotten on his channel and commented on a few things, and he was telling me the benefits of the Qualcomm, which it does have some pretty cool benefits when it works. But I've felt myself, if I was to rely strictly on the Qualcomm GPS, man, you would be in trouble. Because that thing, well, at least mine, we didn't use it in Chad's, but at least in mine, my Qualcomm GPS stays down constantly. All it says is please wait. That's all it says. Now, David did mention in some of the one of the big benefits that I like about the Qualcomm versus my Garmin. I got a Garmin 780, and the thing I liked about it was that when you get a load, every customer has a customer code, like CODE1. I mean, it could be just something random. But you could type that code into the search and it will populate the address, and without you typing in the address and everything. So that was probably the best feature that I saw about the Qualcomm. But it, like I said, it always goes down on me. So in my Garmin, I love the Garmin to death, and it sometimes it works on shorter routes, but I've listened to it a couple times, and man, it will take you through some towns. I mean, like, yeah, it may cut off 20 miles, but you may be stuck in traffic for 15 or 20 minutes longer than you were to take the interstate. So yesterday I went ahead and bit the bullet and bought the Rand 740, and we used the 580 and the 740 in Chad's truck, and I'm very pleased with it. So
on this run, the Garmin had me going down I don't know, Main Street of some little small towns and a couple other things. When I typed it in the RAM, but it had me going down 95. I added 23 miles to it. But yeah, it was. So I'll be bouncing back and forth from it. But I got two of them now. I would strongly suggest you do two of them as well. And the reason I've got two of them, not that I need to or whatever, but I've had the Garmin go down too in Chad's truck. I've had the Ram go down in Chad's truck. So to be able to really not be, scared without going over looking at grass and everything, kind of knowing where you're going is, if one goes down, you always got one up. That was my thing with the Garmin and the Qualcomm. Well, the Garmin kept on leading me down towns, little towns, and the GPS on the clock stayed. So, my Ram, bring over, retract messages. My wife said something to his buffering and I don't know. Is it still distorted? Hold on, it's getting there. No. When it gets ready to shut off, man, it goes to a really loud pitch, and it just goes, it shuts off and shakes her up. Anybody else hear me, or I'm still muffled or distorted or buffering? I guess it's still muffled. So anyway, so I had the muffled. Is that better? I shut up the window. All right, sweet. So let me tell you, so I picked up this trailer at Tyson in Robard, Kentucky, which I had never even heard of, been there, or whatever. But anyways, so I picked it up. It had a little bit more than a half a tank of gas in it. I was like, all right, so I don't know about for anybody else, but Chad, like, he always kept his reefer stuff, full, which I get, hey, and he always said, man, especially if you got a gas hog, sounds like an alien. I might be an alien, Doug, but there's a gas hog setting on the IntelliSet on the reefer, and I get it. I mean, if it needs fuel, get it fuel. But I had this trailer I knew I was going to have it for 3 days. So Prime pays for the fuel on the first fill up and pay the any other fuel other than the first fill up. So I would check it every day, 2 or 3 hours. I'd go out and check it, make sure, we're good. It really didn't move a whole lot. So he got a quarter of a tank, a little bit more than a quarter of a tank today. And of course, I'm 10 miles from my 90, so I went and filled it up. And $70 for 20 gallons. So if I would have filled it up once I got it, not saying that it would have used a whole lot of gas from then and between now and then, but I think you're wasting money. You're throwing money out the window when Prime's paying that first fill up. But you got to make sure that you're watching your fuel on the reefer, because Chad said on those and get those working again once run out of gas is a headache and a huge issue. I don't want to get to the level of that, being that low, but hey, if it's going out of my pocket, I'm watching it. You know what I mean? I'm watching it for Prime's pocket as well. It's just I'm not going to waste money continuing to fill up something, because what will probably happen is this is going to be a live unload tomorrow. I assume that's what it's going to be. So, and it's got good tires. I mean, it's a pretty good trailer. The tandem's sliding really easy. That last trailer I had, that 160043. Man, that trailer was the tandems wouldn't slide. The tires were all junky. I mean, it was. And when I did the pickup and the drop off, I put all those notes in there, letting them know that hey, that trailer needs to be looked at. Specifically, the tires need to be looked at. But this one rides good. It's a little loud, but it makes me sleep better. So I have no problems with it. I guess people are dropping off because it's maybe still buffering. I don't know. Or I'm sounding like an alien. But I'm just chilling. I'm going to get up probably about 4:30. Get up about 4:30 and run into my 90. They sit. Not until 6:30. So I'm only going to be 10 miles, so I'm going to leave probably around 5. So I'll probably get there, 5:15, 5:30. That way, because on the clock comment it says in the notes as well that you can only put an hour, or the sheriff will come and ask you to move. So I figure if I get there an hour early, hopefully it's not going to be there. But if not, worst case scenario, I can. It's getting ready to shut off, guys. It's getting really loud now.
There you go. It's off. I've picked up trailers with tires with huge chunks missing all over. Some pictures of road sets, and they said good to go. Since no metal showing, they certainly did look good to know. Yeah. We actually had, what trailer was it? I had a trailer the other day that can't remember what was wrong with it. I flagged it as, I didn't flag it. I basically just put it in my comments that, there was issues with it or whatever. And I got a Qualcomm message saying that there was a pending work order on it. So sound is crystal. Yeah, great. That reefer, man, I'm telling you, it's loud. and to be honest with you, a lot of these trucks over here in where I'm at right now, they're dry freight. There's not a lot of reefers in here, which is surprising. But I had to jerk in the mirrors again tonight. This guy over here beside him, he was in one of my videos prior, I had told you guys about folding your mirrors in because some people Some people get close to you when they open your door, they just hit your mirrors or whatever. So I folded it in because this guy here, he got, I don't say he got close to me, but the way his doors and my doors lined up, when he opened his door, it was going to hit my mirror. So I went ahead and folded it in. Went ahead and laid down and took a nap. When I got up from the nap, I saw that he had scooted forward because he had now opened his door to smoke. So check your mirrors, guys. If you need to fold them in, that's another good thing. Which I think frail, but to be able to fold your mirrors in if you have to. So that's something that I like to be able to do. I'll tell you that something I don't like about it, and it's not necessarily on this particular truck, it's the issue, not on all of them, but they didn't line up my hose on my deer guard. So when you closed it, like the passenger side wouldn't close hardly. You couldn't actually get the pin in to get it to close, to push it through to be able to lock in. So when I went through the truck, that was one of the things that I told them. Well, they just basically drilled it out and they made the hole bigger, which sounds logical. But now what happens is this goes like this, and I threw a pin. So I got the driver's side stayed in, but the passenger side stayed out. So I would came out. Yep, me neither. I only have a pin in my driver's side. So let me tell you, I would go when you go to Lowe's. I don't think Walmart sells them, whatever. But when I went home, I got some extras just in case that happens again. Because if you're out there on the road and you lose both pins, you're going to have some issues. You're going to be stuck like Chuck, where you're going to be rolling with that thing down. And that's going to be a good thing. So I went ahead and bought some extra pins, but instead of buying the ones that could flip out and you lose, what I did is actually bought a pin where you can put a Carter key in it, where it's got something that if it tries to slide out, it's going to catch it versus letting it go ahead and slide out. Because what was happening on those Clevis pins that they put in there, they actually have the big circle in them and they fold over, and they're supposed to hold it in place. Well, it would vibrate out and it would just pop out. So I went ahead and got the Carter pin that would slide through it, and that seems to work. I'm not having issues so far. But I did buy some extra. Would have to zip tie it like crazy or something if you lose. Yeah, I tried. Well, actually, I zip tied 3 zip ties, the 75-pound zip ties on the passenger when I lost it, just in case I did lose that other one, and they broke. All 3 of them broke, and they was a 75-pound. They was a thicker zip tie. Not the thickest that I've seen, but still pretty thick. So I don't know if the internationals are just more vibration up front, or what it is, or if they just the way that it was installed. Yeah, Derek, I tried it, man. That's what I thought too. I was like, well, surely, but they broke all 3 of them. But now when I was at Home Depot, no, actually I was at Walmart at Home Time to pick up some extra zip ties. Man, they had some zip ties that was, were like super thick. Like you could probably freaking jump off a cliff with them. They were so thick. Not sure that they would break them, but probably a good possibility over time they would. So, yeah, this guy still got his lights on. I got a picture of this guy earlier, man. I didn't know if before because when he bent over, all I seen was boobs. He ended up being a guy that just had really big boobs. It was a big old guy though. Well, guys, my father-in-law said that I've not done an hour stream. I'm at an hour and 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and I probably buffered maybe half of it. I'm not sure, but he watches me. He's watching me tonight, and one of the things I told my wife when I came through Florida, she said that the orange juice and pineapple juice, maybe, I'm not sure, but I know she said free orange juice out at the center when you come in. And she said, Dad does it every time. We stop there every time. And for me, I was going to stop early as possible, definitely get a spot, and sure enough, walk. I mean, you're going to typically find a spot that's not, you don't have to reserve. But in this situation, I don't know if a lot of people use this for their home time and they park their truck here, because this is the last exit off of 96 before you go into Jacksonville downtown area. I think we're like I said, 10 miles from it. So I'm sure a lot of people may park the truck here that live in Jacksonville. I don't know that to be the gospel, but that's what I'm assuming. I keep on seeing cars, like this regular cars driving through, which you typically don't see. So for those that's coming on board to Prime, I can assure you it's a good thing. Stick it out, because you're going to have your differences with your trainer. Chad, I love him to death, great guy. But you put two grown adults in a place this confined, I mean, you're going to have issues. You just got to, be able to talk about them and not let things fester up and, turn into things that, just not be a good situation for you. But if you got a problem with your trainer, talk to your trainer. Don't talk to your wife about them. Don't talk on Facebook about them. Don't talk about everybody else about them. Talk to them. If they're a grown adult, you guys work it out. Because there were sometimes me and Chad butted heads. The big thing was about the temperature. I mean, I'm not saying we butted heads on it, but he liked to keep it cold, and I didn't like to be cold that much. I like the coolness and everything, but he likes to run his truck the way he runs his truck, and hey, that's good. I mean, when somebody comes on his truck, it's his truck. If you don't like it, get off. But I would just say, if you got issues with your trainer, for people coming on here, like Scott and I think it was Phoenix Rising. Is that right? Phoenix Rising? Was it? I think he said he was coming in the 29th or whatever. So, yeah, if you have issues with your trainer, just talk about it. Be grown adults. Let them know. Express your opinion. But remember, it's their house. So, you guys have a good day, good night, whatever it is for you. And I'll have a couple more videos for you probably tomorrow once I roll out of the 90 and figure out where I'm going to. See you guys.